Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and I am super excited about the craft project we're going to be doing today. We're going to make some abstract art that is absolutely beautiful that you can customize in your colors for your home. Super affordable, really easy. You do not have to be an artist to do it. So this is where we're headed, but we're going to do it in a larger scale. And this is where we're starting. These are just these little chunky canvases. This one here is a 12 by 12. Whoops. Yeah, it's a 12 by 12 from Walmart. 3D stretched canvas, Daler and Roni brand. This one came in a 4-pack, and these are 6 by 6. So this is what we're gonna start with. I'm gonna show you the technique, and then we'll finish this one, and it's gonna be fabulous. So, don't peek. I'm going to set it aside. Give myself a little bit of room here. Okay, first thing, you want to unwrap your canvas. And you can do this exact same project on a thinner canvas. You could do it on a piece of wood. You can even do it on a piece of watercolor paper, which I have been fiddling around with a lot of different ideas for the last 2 days to get ready to come live to you. Okay, so my colors. I am creating this for the bedroom makeover that we are working on. My oldest son's bedroom. He is married now, and I want to create not his childhood bedroom, but a bedroom that he and his wife will feel cozy and nice in when they come over and end up spending the night. I also want it to be a fabulous, comfy guest bedroom. And I'm going with blues and sage and then cream. Okay, so the colors I will be working with today are dusk. Don't look at my jars. I'm a totally messy person. Dusk Waverly paint. And I'm operating off of a very fancy paper plate. I don't need too much, so let me just pour a little bit of dusk out. And then a teeny weeny bit of agave. This Waverly paint is from Walmart, and it's very thick. And also it's very affordable, and it's just my favorite. I would paint with this even if I had a zillion other choices that were convenient. So dusk and agave and a little bit of pool. I don't really need too much for this small canvas. And then for my greens, I'm working with this one that is called celery. There might be other colors. There's lots of other lines of paint. And if your bedroom or the room that you might be creating a piece of art for is not the same colors, then just create it in your color palette. Choose 3, 4, 5 different colors to work with. And then you can choose if you want the gold accents. And then the last one is this, and it is called Scallion. And I'm only using a very little bit of this, even though I totally love this color. I don't have a lot of this color upstairs. What a mess. Okay. And then I'm going to be working with some gold, which this is what I have. It's folk art metallic, and it says 660 pure gold. That's what I have. I actually like this one better, but I don't have any more. And all these paints came from Walmart. This is Ceramcoat. I don't know how to pronounce that. And it's a Luxe Metallic Gold. I love this one. I'm going to see if I can order it, because last time I looked for it at Walmart, they did not have it. Okay, so I have my little painter's palette all ready to go, except for the gold. We'll come back to that. And I am going to be working today with a palette knife and some paper towels. You can also use a cruddy brush if you want. Okay, and all you're going to do is start grabbing your colors, and you're just going to kind of, this is supposed to be messy. The first little bit that you get on here, you're going to think, oh, I put it on too thick, but you didn't. You just got to get some paint on there to get started. So that's the dusk. And I'll probably add some more. Let's add a little bit of this agave. So pretty. The first one that I made, I must have had more of this agave. And actually, I took it upstairs to my son's room, and I think it is too teal or something. He has, we bought some pretty blue furniture for his room, a nightstand. Oops, that's way too thick. Oh well. A nightstand and a dresser. 2 nightstands and a dresser. And so I'm a little bit limited by that color in there. Okay, let's grab some pool. And like I said, if you want, you can do this whole process with a cruddy paintbrush. I just think it's fun to use one of these palette knives sometimes. And my palette knives are not fancy. They came from Dollar Tree. They came a package that had several different sizes. And I've had them for 100 years. That's why they look so cruddy. Okay, so you can see it's starting to look interesting already. Now I'm going to wipe off some of that blue, and I'm going to pick up some of this celery. The bedspread that we selected, and I say we because my daughter-in-law's mother helped me, and she's fabulous. She helped me pick out my bedding and the rug and stuff. But anyways, the bedding that we selected has a lot of sage in it, and it's a little darker actually than sage, so I want a good amount of sage to be on this. These paints from Waverly have a tendency to be kind of thick, and sometimes I will water them down a little bit. But for this application, you want them to be kind of thick. Okay, and let's get some of this scallion, just a little bit, to throw in here and there. Okay, let's see, I think I need a little bit more of this darker color, this agave, which is literally one of my favorite Waverly colors. I'm going to try to sort of fill in. So tell me in the comments if you've ever done this kind of an abstract project using a palette knife. Let's see if anybody has. I, by the way, am obviously no professional. I just like to play. And I saw something when I was looking for some art for the bedroom that was fabulous, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to pay that much money for it. Absolutely not. When I can try to recreate it. So I feel like it dries a little bit darker than what it looks like. I'm going to let this fully dry, and then we will tackle the edges. So let me find a spot to put this paint. My desk is full. Okay, this is the one that I have been working on today, and I took it a little bit lighter. I did more of the dusk. So you can see it's a little bit lighter than this one. I think it looks great. And then I did 2 coats of gold paint around the edges. So I left one blank so I could just show you how super easy that is. And you don't have to use any of these same paints. Use what you have in the colors that appeal to you, that could go in your decor. Don't feel like these colors are, you know, locked into anything. So I'm just going to do 1 coat right now. And then I will dry it, and we'll move on to the next step, which is where the magic happens. And then I'll come back and give this one side another coat of gold paint later. Okay, I like the look. Let me see a spot where when a little bit of it sort of peeks over the edge. So I'm not trying to be neat here. I don't want to drop it though. So you can use any kind of canvas you want. Like I said, you could use some watercolor paper if you want. You could use a wood sign. You could paint over something if you don't have what you're wanting, and repurpose. And there we go. Okay, which side is it? Right here. Let me just dry that real quick so we can move on to the next step. Mostly dry so I don't get paint on my stencil, which I'll tell you about that in just a second. Okay, I'll give it another minute or two, but see how it looks now? It's going to have another coat of paint and it's going to look fabulous. Also, I will clean up the back of this. So, why do you not use paint like this or like this on stencils? Well, one reason is that sometimes it's too thin and it has a tendency to kind of want to run under the stencil. But the main thing is I don't want to ruin my beautiful stencils. I want to be able to use them this year, next year, the year after, and the year after. And paint dries pretty quickly and permanently. So it clogs up all the beautiful holes in mesh stencils. It doesn't affect those plastic ones that you use a pouncer brush on, but it can totally destroy one of these beautiful green Magnolia stencils. And I want to get a zillion uses out of each one, so that's why I don't ever use paint on it. I only use chalk paste, which chalk paste is not paint. It's like the crayons, or not the crayons, it's like the chalk sticks that the teacher used on the blackboard, but they're colored and it's a paste. So I use chalk paste, I use permanent ink for fabric. Magnolia has a new product coming out called Scorch Paste. There's bleach paste. I'm trying to think. There's a few other things, but no paint. Okay, let me give this one more hit and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I think that's going to be sufficiently dry. Okay, for this project, when I hold it up close, you can see it a little better. I just used one corner of this gorgeous stencil that we are going to be using, and I used this gold chalk paste as a black lid from Magnolia. Let it dry, and that's it. I have not done another thing to it. I could spray it with a clear matte sealer spray. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this because I think it's a little too, I might give it to someone. It's a little too, the blues are not quite right for the room upstairs. This would look lovely down here in our main family room. Okay, so we're going to use this. This is called Parisian Paper. And what I love about it is it's all these different sections of really old-fashioned looking script. There's a butterfly, a dragonfly, a bee, a ladybug, the word Paris, this gorgeous key. Marseille is a town in the south of France. Whether you love France or not, whether it's your thing or not, this is a gorgeous stencil, and there's so many different sections that you can use. You do not have to use the whole entire thing. So I think I'm going to use, I'm not sure yet. Let me lay my stencil backing sheet down, and well, let me show you this up close first. I do not want this to fold over on itself because I've only used it 2 or 3 times and it's still pretty darn sticky. There's some areas where it didn't get any paint. That's called negative space, I've learned. And then messy gold border. I love this look. It looks like it's gilded. Yeah, and I think it's pretty fabulous. Okay, so what do I want to have on here? I want the whole entire thing to be covered, is basically what I want. And I want it to be reasonably straight. Okay, let me tell you what the challenge is going to be with this. This is a canvas that's going to want to kind of bend and flux underneath. Let me see, if I put this under it, would it hold it more stable? It might a little bit. Okay, so let me grab a couple things here. A squeegee, I need a stir stick. And I want to get my chalk paste on fairly quickly. And then I want to take my stencil off and be done. I don't want to keep going over and over and over it, because that's when you can have a tendency to push too much of your medium underneath. And my chalk paste, honestly, I'm not sure why. I may have been a little heavy-handed. Last time I stirred it and added distilled water, it's a little bit runny. That's okay. I'm just going to put some on. And then let's use this big squeegee to start out with. And I forgot, darn it, I forgot to fill up my tub of water in here. So pretty quickly after I'm done with this, I'm going to finish up and run out to the kitchen to wash my stencil. Let's try moving this over here so that the other canvas is underneath it. You can see how runny this is. I don't know if I just used too much distilled water when I was stirring and freshening my chalk paste. That's a possibility. If you have something hard that you could put under the whole stencil, underneath the whole canvas, excuse me, that would be helpful. And the script on this is like old-fashioned French cursive, I believe. It's not readable, or at least it isn't readable to me. So I'm not fussing too much that it's super clear. Let's take a peek. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. So pretty. Wow. Okay, I'm going to throw it in my tub so I can run out to my kitchen when I'm done and get that cleaned off. But this is what it looks like, which when it's dry and I can get good pictures, you'll be able to see it better. It looks absolutely fabulous. It looks like it was printed a long time ago. So that's the project. If you would like to look at that stencil design, which I'm going to also do a denim shirt, a Walmart denim shirt with it, and probably a ton more projects because I absolutely love this design. If you want to look at it, comment Paris or Parisian paper, or just Paris is the easiest thing, and I will send you that info in a message. So what do you guys think? I know it's very hard to tell in this bright light, but it seriously is beautiful, and it's gonna look very similar to this once it's dry. So have a blessed and fabulous rest of your day. I see Debbie said Paris. Do a this or a this. That's a heart. Sprinkle if you liked this. Let me review the paint colors one quick time and then I'll hop off and go clean my stencil. Okay, I used Dusk and Agave. Those are the two darkest blues. And then I used Pool, which is a lighter blue. And then for the greens, I used Celery and Scallion, just a little bit. And then this is the gold that I used, but you can use any gold, and actually I prefer the other one that I had. This is Folk Art Metallic Pure Gold. These can be any kind of paint. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. The palette knives came a set of 3 or 4 different shapes from Dollar Tree. But you can also get nice metal palette knives from any craft store or art store, because real artists actually use these. I'm just pretending to be a real artist when I use these. And I love to do edging with these, so be on the lookout for that. And then I used gold chalk paste. And the canvases are all from Walmart. All right. Yep, I see lots of people saying Paris, and I will message you a link so you can just hop over and peek at it. You can look up close and see all the amazing detail that is too hard to see just yet on this one. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys later.